Reactors is vid. Do you guys want to watch the I'm only gonna watch one person's video on this. For those of you who don't know, you guys know, but a bunch of PoE streamers got invited, and not just PoE streamers, a bunch of people, right? Anyone interested in Path of Exile who's a content creator, basically. A bunch of people got invited to go to LA to try out the Path of Exile 2 demo, beta, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure how much they got to play, because I didn't go, Sag. So, for me, this will be my first time seeing what they did in LA. This will be my first time. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna watch this video real quick, 27-minute video, and that'll cap off the stream. So let's watch that.
Right here, fresh off the flight from LA.
On the video as well.
I guess this is the sponsored video because Grinding Your Games flew me out to LA to try Path of Exile 2. I asked for permission. I didn't just steal this, Chris. Okay, I asked for permission. They said I could take it. I got to try Path of Exile 2. They flew me out. This was unlimited time. We got to play, I think I got to play 3 or 4 hours. So I tried a little bit of the Ranger, a little bit of the Sorceress. We started from level 1. We had access to the skill tree, and we actually got to play the game. This wasn't a predetermined demo that started at a certain level. We actually get to make our own characters. Another thing that was really cool as well, and
dude, I totally would have gone to LA if it was literally like 2 days. Cause like, can you imagine how cool that would have been to play for like 2 days? You know, like 6 hours or 10 hours or something? That would have been insane. Did they not invite you? They did, but it was a day event. So my understanding, some streamers like DM, for example, landed, woke up, went to the event, went home. So, you know, some of these people were there for like a day, not even a full day. Like they were in and out. And I just decided I didn't want to commit to that because it's a long trip. And, you know, enough people I knew were going that I didn't feel too worried about missing out because I knew they would record everything and talk to people about it and stuff like that.
So we're going to go through and talk about a few of the things. I didn't actually have access to a microphone there. So this is me playing, and then we're going to be looking over. So here we are starting with the Ranger. And you can see that we have access to softcore and hardcore. However, I'm most likely definitely going to be spending quite a lot of time learning the game on softcore. It is a lot more Dark Souls-like than the current Path of Exile, and especially the bosses are incredibly fun. It is very, very different than the current game. And here, as you can see instantaneously when we're starting off, is that I choose WASD movement, which I was incredibly skeptical with. You can see here that I instantly put mouse button 1, but then I realized I don't need mouse button 1. I'm WASD now. It did take probably like 10-15 minutes to get used to, and it was a little bit weird. But being able to attack while moving felt so incredibly good. In fact, so much so that later on, whenever I did get any move that made me stand completely still, my main feedback was there should probably not be very many moves that makes you stand completely still. They should just greatly reduce. But you can see very similar experience here at the start from current Path of Exile, where you're finding the chests, etc. You're finding a gem. This is a predetermined gem, not the uncut gems that we've seen that we have access for later. So we will be getting that later. But even once you get the uncut gems, and other people that I spoke to that had played for the first time and had maybe not a lot of hours in Path of Exile 1, said that they found it a lot less complicated. And that is because PoE 1 gives you, you know, you can see in the vendor like 60, 70 different gems. Here you do actually on the uncut gems only get access to 3 early on. So it's a lot.
The game pausing is like so weird. What?
A lot less to take in. Very similar at this point to PoE 1, maybe a little bit slower. And you can see that monsters are individually a little bit scarier. And here is a very big difference. The Act 1, or the start equivalent of Hillock, is a lot harder. He actually almost one-hits you with one of his slams, and does a lot of damage. Ended up using my lightning arrow to clear the monsters, and I'm using my auto attack. And auto attack was pretty potent early on in the game to do single target there.
Wait, should I turn it up?
And an important thing about the roll is that it has iframes. So you'll see that later with one of the bosses that we are literally iframing through like volleys of attacks, keeping me safe. But here, yeah, very, very dangerous boss early on. I will have a separate video going through all of the bosses I fought and stuff like that. And even the campaign bosses are borderline on levels of Ubers that we're currently facing in the game. So I think bosses are going to be a lot more interesting, and I think we're going to see a lot more softcore than hardcore. The skill tree is not finished, but you can see very like similar vibes. I will not be going over the skill tree and showing everything as well. The reason for that is it is mostly changing. Like there are going to be a lot of changes, so there was simply no reason to like make like a full go over the skill 3 video. But you can see that I am allocating skill trees and trying to figure out where to go next and stuff. Here you can see the first...
so iframing, I'm not sure what ability he said had iframes, but it stands for invulnerability frame. And it's basically when you perform an action, like let's say a roll, there'll be a period, the roll, well there you go. So when you roll in Path of Exile, there'll be a period of invulnerability where even if you get hit, you don't take damage. So it's to like essentially reward you for pressing the dodge ability. You know, it's like, oh, you dodged the ability, good job, you don't get hit now.
Uncut skill gem, so now when I'm right clicking that, you can see what I'm talking about.
Same
here.
as Dark Souls, yeah.
I'm trying to fetch a little bit of lore here by skilling through it. But
yeah, it's not the whole
what this does is I can right click it and it lets me choose, and if I pause here as well, you can see that I'm able to even see what I'm going to be able to make in the future once I'm higher level. So early on we have Stormcaller Arrow, Escape Shot, and a Lightning Arrow that we already have. And Stormcaller Arrow, honestly, it is like Explosive Arrow but lightning, and actually ended up being my main single target for the entirety of the run. Later on I'll be picking a Vine Arrow. I'm very excited to show that. It was a lot of fun. Now, a big thing in this, when you die, the boss fully resets health. In fact, if you die to a zone, the monsters respawn as well. But as you can see here at the top of the screen, there's the blue checkpoint. So you can see I'm fighting kind of the equivalent of Hail Rake here. And they definitely have some moves that you do need to like learn. You also want to just learn the patterns of the fight and the ads. So that's what I mean, that it's a little bit more Dark Soulsy, and early on you don't have that many more abilities and you're getting stuck on things.
Jesus.
You can actually see a health bar or a bar above my health potions, and that is a stun bar, so when that one fills up you get stunned. But yeah, this is the Karen Crone, and
wait, what did he say?
Or a bar above my health potions, and that is a stun bar, so when that one fills up you get stunned. But yeah, this is the Karen Crone, and even early on the bosses are quite difficult.
So you're talking about this bar?
Obviously, like, we will learn a lot more about how variable hardcore is in the beta, yeah, we will we'll figure things out there. Maybe with over leveling and knowing exactly what the bosses can do, you will be okay. But it is quite scary. A lot of things are like almost one-hitting you and stuff. And we can see here when I kill the Carrion Crone that I'm about to get a quest item that is increasing my cold rest. And you do get like less items than early on in PoE. I do actually quite early in this playthrough find a rare bow, which helped me a lot. Now, one of the things I really want to show you is a little bit further in when I pick up Vine Arrow. And they did show us a little bit of a live demo with Octavian playing before we got to play. And he showed off Vine Arrow and like the utility and how that worked. It just looked so strong. It looked like Toxic Rain. It slows down every monster close to it and gives like a poison dot on it. So I was like, I'm just going to use that as my main ability. And I remember Jonathan coming over and saying, oh, we haven't seen anyone do that. That was my favorite skill. I think I started using that with Poison Burst Arrow later for additional single target. And then I had my Lightning Arrow as well. So I had like a fun rotation there. Another thing as well, you might have noticed, I have made great efforts to not show the minimap as much, because I know people don't like that. It was very difficult for me, but I persevered. Now, I've skipped...
Yeah, so context there is at ExileCon, Ziz had a live playthrough, and during the playthrough, he was constantly using the overlay, and the chat was just fucking ripping into him the whole... Like, they were like, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. Yeah, it's something you don't think about as a PoE main, because like, you know, you subconsciously don't think about it. But obviously for showcase purposes, it's annoying. It's a hard habit to untrain.
Skipped a little bit. We are an hour in, and I wanted to show you my playstyle a little bit. So now we are, I think I'm around level 10 right now. And you can see that I'm actually, even though I'm on a 1 link, I'm early on. I think I have a rare short bow at the moment. You can see that the pace is actually not too bad. That was one of the things that I was terrified of. But honestly, from what I'm feeling about this, is that it comes down to the fact that it's in true GTD fashion, that almost everything they've shown off so far has been with a like 1 link with no damage supports, with no movement speed, etc. So, you know, even early on now that I'm starting to scale a bit, I was feeling pretty decent. And I did see people were getting to some pretty okay damage, which was very good for me to see. If you see that monster with a shield, that actually ends up giving me a huge trouble with my Sork later, because right now I'm degenning that thing, making it have no issues. But it actually reflects all abilities when it has a shield. It does like a projectile coming back at you when you have a shield up. So it was awful on my sorcerer. Did not even notice it on this because my build was so strong with the degen. So really enjoyed that. Another thing as well that was a little bit jarring was having to go back to town for potion charges was definitely something I don't like, and I do hope they reconsider that. It was definitely not as bad on Ranger, because early on Ranger I managed to pick up life flasks recharge every few seconds, and also mana flask recharge every few seconds, and Ranger doesn't even use that much mana compared to Sword. Rare monsters here, you can see as well, are actually a little bit of a battle. They're a lot more like mini bosses. This one is a little bit scary because it does have a shield, so it's hard to damage it, which I had not realized at this point, by the way. I was not fully aware. But you can see that when I kill it, it does actually drop not a like bad amount of bases. And I did get, I think, like 3 alchemies or something like that. And I had not discovered at this point that I could disenchant items similar to PoE1, so you can sell things for gold, or you can sell things for alteration shards, alchemy shards, etc. And here you have a pretty cool boss fight. I think I managed to kill this on the 1st or 2nd try. On my sorceress, I think this took me 6 or 7 tries. And I will talk a little bit about sorceress at the end of this, but this is Draven. Very.
So this is what a good character looks like, is what he's saying. Like, what?
Cool boss. And yeah, honestly, that has been my favorite thing. The fact that everything is so different, and that's it's very Elden Ring feel to it. You can see that the lightning is increasing the stun bar here as well, and when I get it stunned, he will just stand still for 3 or 4 seconds, letting me do damage. So this is that like explosive art with lightning that I told you about. You can see that the lightning projectile gets stuck in him and detonates a few seconds later.
Yeah, we don't get in-game gameplay yet.
I saw quite a lot of people were dying at this. Now some of the bosses do start getting different abilities the lower they get as well, or their abilities will become more powerful. So boss fights aren't taking that long, and this is also early on. I don't have any like crazy items or anything. They have changed the way portal and stuff works as well. You're about to see that I'm portaling out. Oh no, actually this is a anti-backtrack feature that they have. But maybe I do end up portaling here. I can't exactly remember because this was 2 days ago. There, yeah, create a portal to town. It's no longer something they have a scroll. It's an infinite resource with a channeling time. And then you can hit the well. You also instantaneously get full flasks by engaging with the boss. So you can see here that I'm like IDing things to sell them. I completely missed the fact that I could disenchant at this point. And you know, just looking through some item upgrades. I think I am using a short bow at this point. I'm just vendoring everything, and I'm going to keep the thawing flask in case I get frozen. So that is a utility flask that helps you not get frozen. Some of the cool things that we saw on flasks as a roll, I didn't get one, but somebody did get a flask that had passively recharges. fast charges. We're actually going to keep watching here because now I'm about to fight another really cool boss. I do want to make a separate video going over all the bosses just because of how cool they were. And I am 90% sure I died to Lachlan because he has a pretty scary slam. You can see here my damage is pretty good already. Like, he is going down pretty hard, so I'm scaling poison, and then while my poison is ticking, I'm attacking with that lightning to get that stun off, just for a little bit of safety. I'm trying to ignore that other monster. They do hit for a lot of damage. You see that I'm shocking him for 30%.
Yeah, the bosses look amazing,
giving
but
myself a lot more damage. And this is very early. This is still the equivalent of
I'll just say right now, I can't imagine what endgame looks like. If the camp... Because, like... So, how do I word this, chat? Would you say Path of Exile currently is oppressively difficult? Specifically in maps? Would you say it's oppressively difficult? No, you wouldn't, right? You would say it's a challenge to make a good build, but you wouldn't say it's oppressively difficult. Mapping doesn't feel like trying to beat a Dark Souls or an Elden Ring boss or anything like that. Because this is legitimately, that's the vibe they're going, I mean, that's 100% what they're going for. I mean, I really wonder, oh man, I'm totally with you guys. I really need to see what maps look like, because my gosh, this looks so difficult. I'll say right now, I cannot imagine playing this game 10 hours a day, every day for like 2 months. I mean, maybe this is literally just the campaign on your first playthrough. Because if it's just the difficulty of the campaign on your very first playthrough, that's totally fine. I'm actually totally fine with that. You will, yeah, because if it feels like PoE 1, after like you get some gear, you get some levels, you get some upgrades, you get this and that, you get more gem combinations, you get this and this and this and this. If I can't play Path of Exile 2 while having Quinn scream in my ear in my other monitor, or while watching Lord of the Rings for the 500th time. Now, I'm not saying I should be able to do that on League Start or even Day 2, but like, you know, once I've got all my gear going, I've got my build, I know how to play the game. Maybe it's my second or third league, like I've been playing the game for 9 months. Like if I can't like chill map, I mean, that would be a problem for me. Because that's a completely different game, isn't it? That's a completely different game. You're dreaming it won't be like PoE 1? Yeah, I mean, I really hope it is more like PoE 1, but maybe with a better journey towards that end game progression. Do you really watch Lord of the Rings when mapping sometimes? Yeah, I do. I actually think I purchased the full thing on Prime. I think I purchased this. It's one of the only movies I've ever actually bought and own like on the internet. Like, you know, I can watch it on Prime right now if I wanted to. Anyway, I guess it's too early to doom and gloom. This is literally the first like 3 hours of the game, purely by content creators that have never played the game before. I mean, this could be overtuned still. Yeah, who knows? I guess it's too early. We should just wait till the end of the year when we get access to the beta, right? I might for the first time be a feedback Andy this beta though. I mean, normally I'm not a feedback Andy, but I think during the beta at the end of the year, assuming it comes out, I might be a feedback Andy. If you watch other people's vids towards Act 2, they already get quite a lot bit more power. Yeah, we'll keep watching the video. Maybe in this video it like
one in the normal game. Out. I would say this is probably the equivalent to Brutus. So the pace of the game is pretty okay for how I feel. Did I not die? I feel like I died here. I guess I just killed him first try. And then here we get an uncut support gem. So we'll take a look at that. And that was a rare.
They did say beta this year, right?
So you can see the rares do actually like drop decently. And that's like the map. You can portal between the waypoints.
They said maybe.
And then we're about to check out the support gem. And I'm trying to get like a rough idea on where to go, how to figure out how to traverse the zones. You can see we get Ink AoE or Conk Effect. However, I was not high enough level to get that, so I did not actually get one of those support gems. One thing, like the most important takeaway for me is once I stopped playing Ranger and stuff like that, I really wanted to keep playing, and right now I actually wanted to keep playing, so that's a really good feeling. I will be showing Stork later. I did not enjoy that, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well, but I had such a blast on Ranger, and it's a very similar experience of ExileCon, where I played the Huntress, and that was very fun as well. Whereas other classes weren't. I did ask Jonathan some questions about it, like what kind of they're aiming for, and they are going to try to balance it so that it is more fun and lean more towards potentially the Ranger experience there, and that is
Rows look completely different.
Feels very smooth. A very large difference between PoE 1 and PoE 2 is how large the zones are, especially with them being so they're going to be so dynamic. They're not going to be like PoE 1 where you can learn the zones as much. It's very difficult to really get a feel for where you're going. So I felt very lost, and I was full clearing a lot. Now full clearing is definitely going to be something you're doing on hardcore, but on softcore you could maybe feel a little bit like I wish I knew where I was going in this zone. So that's something I would like to change. But now we're gonna fast forward in a sec and take a look at the Executioner, the final boss that I did. So now we're in a like fiery burned village, and we're coming up on the Executioner. This is actually quite a hard boss fight. I did not kill this on my first try. The first time I fought him, he like one-shot me with a cleave thing that you're about to see. But
this
he
is
just
cool.
chops off this poor woman's head.
Dude, look at the pile of heads, dude. Oh my god, this looks cool, man.
He's executing people, and yeah, a little bit of a scary one. You can see here, I am trying to stay a little bit close to him, so he will try to auto attack me, but miss. And I'm trying to keep my poison pod down. That lasts for quite a while. That's just to like, get that damage over time on. But I'm hitting with the other poison skill I have to poison more, and then just spamming my lightning attack. Does have loads of adds as well, so I do try to keep those close to the poison pod, keep them slowed, as well as slowly dying while I focus damage on the boss. And you see, even this boss, which is, it's also kind of like a Brutus equivalent. It's hard to do a direct comparison. It's not the end boss, so it's not like Merveil, but this is probably the better Brutus comparison. It's a fairly hard boss fight. I think most people died to this. You know, a few people got one shot by that anvil. I got one shot by that slam you just saw, and a lot of people died. Ah, here we go. I thought this was one of the attempts that I killed him in, but
they definitely have to tune the damage. I mean, is there anything that one-shots you that easily in the base game? Because it's just physical damage. It's not like he has a resistance problem.
anvil, I got one shot by that slam you just saw, and a lot of people died.
I mean, come on, that was insane. That was crazy compared to PoE1. That was crazy, bro. Hang on, let's watch it again.
I think most people died to this. You know, a few people got one shot by that anvil. I got one shot by that slam you just saw, and a lot of people died. Ah, here we go. I thought this was one of the attempts that I killed him in, but now you can see that I'm going back in, and he's fully reset. And that's a neat thing here, is that you really need to be able to do the boss in one go. You can't just cheese it by coming back repeatedly. And
yeah, Jack, before you talk shit and say it's totally fair that the boss one-shots you with just a relatively quick slam, you can't. You have to do it without dying. The whole fight resets if you fuck up. So, you know.
And whittling it down over time, so it's going to be a very big difference.
Jack, I'm just saying, you guys don't even play hardcore. I'm just saying, you guys. I think I'm not going to be the one complaining. I'll just put it that way. I don't think I'm going to be the one complaining.
There for a lot of players. So you'll be able to see a little bit more on the skill tree here, and like what kind of the choices I'm making and stuff. Again, we're not going to be doing a video going over that because there are so many changes. So sometimes you will have to like reassess your approach to a fight, and a cool thing that I'm about to show off now is that you have the weapon sets. Now, I'm not actually doing anything different with my weapon sets right now, but especially for sorcerer, you will be doing fire and lightning on some skills. So you might have a 30% fire damage in your weapon set 1, and in your offhand you might have a 5 to 10 cold damage to spells in your weapon set 2, and you can choose which spell goes with which weapon set. So here I'm just taking the projectile damage on both just for good measure to be sure. But on the sword you could take those in difference of summon fire, summon cold, etc. Almost getting one shot there. That is what killed me the first time. So that's a move that definitely can one shot my character, but it didn't there. I definitely think they should buff the life of the characters. There's so many one shots early on. Now, obviously, there's going to be a lot of people having different feelings about that, whether they feel it's a good thing or a bad thing. But a lot of us that were there was feeling like characters were very squishy, particularly the sorcerer, which you'll see after this fight. You can see I am absolutely shredding the executioner with my lightning move here. I'm a little bit scared here. That one shots, absolutely. And I'm trying to keep
that's a fair one shot.
Nice damage over time as much as I can. Also,
yeah, that's a telegraph one shot.
So a lot more going on here than PoE 1, and honestly, I gotta say, I was having an absolute blast. I think I was the second furthest on progression at this point, and just having so much fun. The speed running, blasting. So here the executioner goes down, and we're gonna switch over to the sorcerers here. I'll show you the loot. I run away from the loot. Here we have the sorceress. I had a very rough time at ExileCon playing the sorceress. Was getting stunned a lot, and I did continue trying WSD here. Definitely just, I really like that. I don't know if mouse move will have that much of a place. In PoE 2, like WSD definitely felt like the way to go. And you'll notice here the auto attack of the Sorc is very strong. So much so that later on it actually used to be, or would be, my main single target, because I managed to buy a pretty high auto attack basically, because the way that works, you later on
I like that's cool.
And
I think if I remember correctly from ExileCon, the weapon you equip, so this is a wand I think, or a staff, and it has a skill, and that skill doesn't have a mana cost. Like, it's a special skill. Yeah, and so that's why it doesn't have a mana cost, which is why the auto attack's so strong. So that's cool.
Staffs that have a higher level of Firebolt as an implicit. So if you get one of those early on, that'll actually be insane single target compared to your spells. It doesn't use mana, and you can move so much while casting them. They're maybe a little bit too strong compared to your spells. Now, part of the reason for that is also because the sorceress, you have to be in melee range for a lot of the spells to really be effective, and the combos and stuff. Here you can see like the damage of the auto attack early on. And obviously there are so many other classes too. I've never gotten to try the druid. You see the damage here is a lot higher than the ranger. And that's because the auto attack of the Sorc is so strong, whereas the spells themselves, not always so much. One thing I noticed as well that was a game changer, being able to freely assign my skill points while standing next to monsters and the game pausing felt so good. I absolutely love the pause feature. And I did experience quite a lot of crashes, and coming back in with monsters around me and everything being paused, it's actually quite nice. So really enjoyed that. So we're just going into town here, and we'll...
So when you DC, I assume the game will just pause then, right? That's kind of nice. Pausing is actually... Yeah.
Fast forward a little bit, and you can see a little bit more.
It's a D3 yoink, but that's a good yoink, honestly.
What we let you see here, early on, I'm taking a Flame Wall. It was that or Ice Nova. And I really wanted to have a lot of damage. And Flame Wall did end up being a really good choice for me. I also just didn't really want to do too much cold. Here we're coming up on the Devourer. I did not show this on the Ranger, but I did kill it on the first try in Deathless. It's actually quite a hard fight. They had a different array of people. Some that had played PoE 1 a lot and some that hadn't. And this was actually a quite difficult one for people that had never played PoE before. So it was interesting seeing different approaches and where people were dying a lot. And people were dying quite a lot here. So decent single target, especially with the firewall up. See, I'm trying to take out the ads and stuff. I do think I die here. I don't think I did this Deathless. You see that I am doing quite a lot of damage here. Now that poison ability was quite scary, and you can iframe through that. And in this, from things like that poison ability, you can hide behind other parts of the Devourer. So that's actually the case for several of the boss fights, where it'll make things that you can hide behind, which is pretty cool. I guess I just did a death res and everything. I did think I died here, but that was the Devourer, which I think was quite a cool fight early on. Here, I'm just portaling back to town, and we'll now fast forward a little bit, show a little bit more sword. So in this zone, you can see these shield dudes here, very dangerous. They're very hard. You have to kill them in melee range, so they lower their shield, and if you don't kill them in melee range, they reflect projectiles, which is very difficult.
I will say, I know I do say some pessimistic things about PvE2, but just playing through this game at least once looks like it's gonna be a fucking 10 out of 10. Like, this looks like an incredible... Like, I'm coming at it from the point of view of I want to play this game every day for like up 2 months, right? But ignoring that for a second, this game looks like it's gonna be so much fun to beat. Like, doing everything in this game at least once is gonna be so fucking fun. I don't know if it's gonna be a game I play every day forever, but definitely gonna... I mean, I'm 100% looking forward to playing it. It looks fucking awesome, dude. We said that about D4. Hey, I mean, look, let's not bring D4 into this. Clip this, a million times doing X. Yeah, we'll see.
Built for the story, and this zone was so hard, and everything respawns when you die. So I think, like, you know, having them like lower their shield for longer when you get through melee, so you can get a distance, would probably be good there, because you're very squishy as a sword in melee range. We're gonna fast forward here to the boss in this zone, and that was very difficult. Early on, I started trying to kill it with spells, and later on ended up auto-attacking.
Jesus.
Right, so here we have the boss, and this is how I'm trying to first approach the fight using my abilities. Firewall, Orb Storms, similar behavior to PoE1, where if you shoot projectiles through the firewall, they gain more damage. If you shoot while inside the Orb Storms, it'll zap out things and do a lightning strike on things, even outside of the orb. So that was quite cool, but it did feel very melee. So you see, I'm using my Chaos Bolt quite a lot here, and I definitely died in this fight because it was very hard. And she has a crazy burst move that I'm looking forward to showing you.
His damage looks like it's half of the Ranger.
It has like very cool different moves here. And remember, this is actually my second time fighting this, because I'd already fought on the Ranger and killed on the Ranger. It was actually so much harder on the Witch. Like, she summons and loads of stuff. Quite a difficult. I wasn't expecting that move at all, because I think I killed it so fast on my Ranger I didn't have to deal with it. So this is the attempt that I actually killed her on, and you can see that my strat now is actually throwing Firewall down for more damage and then auto-attacking through it, because that Chaos Bolt just does so much single target. But what it does more than dealing a lot of damage was that it let me be so mobile. And I wonder if we're going to see anything like Stormbrand and Blade Vortex and very mobile skills like that. But mobility is definitely name a game. And being able to move while casting, just honestly, I cannot explain what a delight that was. You can see I have to like destroy the spikes. And you see the boss bar here.
Moving while casting is a good change.
But yeah,
it makes the gameplay so much better, doesn't it?
I just wanted to play Ranger more. It was so much fun. It's important to find a class that you really vibe with, and I really vibed with the playstyle of the Ranger. Did a little excited mouse shake there. Another thing worth mentioning, the monsters, like the trash monsters, were so scary, especially things like lightning and shock resistant were just incredibly rippy. I think they do want to incentivize that you're using multiple skills, so I had fire and lightning, so I would use fire on the lightning and shock resistant ones, and that made a big difference. So similar idea to Diablo 2 there. I'm not a big fan of that. I definitely prefer when you can do a one element playstyle. However, obviously PoE, it's a lot easier to incentivize that with the skill points changing between your different abilities. And it's a very different game than Path of Exile 1. You definitely gotta have a different approach to get into it. And there were a lot of cool things that I saw and heard from other people as well. Like, you can actually actively block with a shield now. And
that's
until
gonna be me, right?
Your block bar, which is above my life plus, gets filled, you are like not taking damage at all. You are fully blocking. So being able to like actually make my own character from level 1 and stuff and evolve it over time made it feel a lot more Path of Exile. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing my sneak peek here of what I'm showing you guys. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Sub if you liked the video, but more importantly, try to die less than I do.
Well, 0 dislike. Well, I could be the first one. Unless...
Hi, is this right here? Fresh?
Oh, nah, they ruined it! They ruined it! Check clear and leap slam. Oh, wow. It's a pretty decent looking... This looks alright! Wait, Alkaiser got to like a whole different zone. Yo, is Alkaiser like gaming? What the fuck? Anyway, guys. Cheers for hanging out. I am going to go to bed. We have a week to go, I think. We have 1 week until the next league. But I will head off today. GG. GG, guys. GG.